Hey guys, UmaPokke here, and for today's content, as I've mentioned in the previous video, today we're going to be taking a look at essentially a full career run of how I'm going to be doing my trainings using a completely free-to-play account, right? So the account I have over here is going to be my out. It is completely free to play, and we are just going to go into the URA finale and try to do the best of my abilities to try and get a decent enough rating for it. Let's just say, for example, in this Gemini Cup, right? And Gemini Cup is going to be our example down over here because it is the most stat-intensive race that we are probably ever going to be seeing for a long while, because you need really high stamina and speed, whereas the other races like Mao, Sprint, as well as mediums, it is not as stat hungry and more so skill hungry. So that is going to be depending on your inheritance. For this upcoming race, as long as you have a good amount of stats, I would say you're probably going to be able to beat like 80 to 85% of the entire population, especially if they don't really know how to play Uma Musume. So hopefully this time we can see the thought process, the execution, the planning for before the career runs for the junior, classic, and senior year, right? These 3 different years, as well as a summary to see what we're going to be getting towards the race, right? So without further ado, let's jump in right here. So I believe that out of all my Umas, the best example that probably everyone has is either going to be you're going to be running a Go ship or you're going to be running for Oguri Cap. It kind of really just depends on what you like. I'm just going to be using Oguri Cap here as an example because I believe almost everybody does have themselves an Oguri, right? And Oguri is a very, I would say, a generalist Uma. She has built-in A for both Mao and medium. If you want to change her to a long A, that's definitely going to be possible as well. So Oguri is going to be our example right here. So let's just jump right in. So how we're going to be doing this is, first of all, our inheritance, right? So this is going to be very important. First of which, if you are going to be a free-to-play or casual, I think if you're just going to be running 3 runs a day, just purely just to get your stamina out of the way, just always use this for your ace Uma. If you're somebody that is sweaty, if you're a meta player, you want to slam gems, you want to slam TPs and farm as much as you can, then you should be using your borrows for your own parents, right? So you build your parents using a grandparent borrow from your guests. But if you are somebody that's a lot more casual and you don't want to spend like hours and hours a day farming, like for example myself, 50 Oguri Cap runs just for the perfect god tier ace, you can just borrow 3 times a day for the actual ace itself. So in this case, we're just going to be borrowing from a guest. So just use the filter button from like the UmaDB and search by based on whatever you need, right? So this is going to be, I believe, a 3-star stamina with 6-star power with the built-in long, which gets us to long A. If you take a look at the actual sparks over here, not too bad. Don't really have straight away spurt and no URA finale, but the skills are not going to be our priority for this actual run because skills are not the end-all be-all, especially for majority of player base, right? The problem most players have, especially relating to the 90% why Uma suck video, is not really just because of skills. It's mainly because players cannot feel, or rather, players believe that they cannot hit the required stats even if they are going to be a free-to-play base. So I'm just going to be going about this. So don't care about the skill that much. Just go for as much stats as you can, especially when you're just starting out, right? So the whole inheritance planning thing, kind of check out all of the previous videos to see how can you craft a better inheritance for the Uma myself. So that's going to be our guest borrow. And of our own borrow, because this is, you know, we don't really have a lot of things to work with, we're just going to be going for something like the highest possible amount of stats I'm going to be getting. I really don't think we have too many, so I think I'm probably gonna be going for this Uma, which is going to be 21 speed and 33 stamina for a grand total of 54 stats total. And we do get a little bit of front, which is completely useless, but purely because of the fact that we want stats, and more stats. Just use whatever you have. You can see over here the inheritance for this Silent Suzuka is very relatable. 6 stars total from this two. Medium and front runner, this front runner is completely useless. This means also completely useless. So we're just gonna be going with this for a grand total of 21 speed, 54 stamina, as well as 42 power, right? So that's gonna be our starting inheritance. For Oguri Cap, if you take a look into her career details, you have 20% speed and 10% power, which means that the majority of your inheritance should try to cover her downside, which is the 0% on stamina. So getting more stats on a 0% stat gain over here is going to be more efficient for you when you go into the career itself. So kindly check out the 90% fail video of the top 10 beginner mistakes. So that is what we're going to be going for, and we're just going to jump into the actual deck building itself. So this is going to be the deck that we're using. Sweep Tosho, Manhattan Cafe, Top Gun, Super Creek at MLB 0, the free special weak card, as well as we're just going to be borrowing our Killa Sun Black for something like this, right? The 3 speed, 3 stamina. This is very, very nice for a lot of player base, especially if you're just starting out. If you do have access to, for example, the inside scoop. So, for example, if you're going to be able to get the card over here, which is going to be from the main story quest, right? Your Major McQueen. This card here is actually really, really nice, especially because it's completely free and it does give you some very decent skills. For example, cooldown is a very, very nice gold recovery. Inside scoop is quite nice for all of your longs as well. So, you know what? I think we're just going to be going with this, right? So, you can eventually get this to MLB completely for free just by being in an active club. So, the 3 cards over here are going to be done, and we are just going to be going for this and see where it goes, right? So, one good question is between a 0 limit break, super break, as well as a 0 limit break Killer Sun Black, which one should you be borrowing the MLB copy? I would say Killer Sun Black is just that important, right? So, even though Super Creek is not going to be getting you're going to be getting very, very low friendship. So, you take a look at an MLB 0 Super Creek, you can see that we do not have access to the initial friendship gauge as well as stamina bonus. So, she's definitely going to be not as good of a card compared to MLB, right? So, it is what it is. As a free to play, we're going to work with what we have and do the best of our capabilities using the probabilities within the career itself to increase the odds of us getting a good Uma. So, without further ado, let's just jump into the career right now. And we'll see how it goes, right? So, we're going to be splitting up the career into 3 different portions: junior year, classic year, as well as senior year. And every single step along the way, I'll just explain my thought process as to why I made all of these decisions, right? So, for your junior year, if you take a look at my previous video for the top 10 beginner mistakes, is that you want to use this year purely as a way to increase your friendship bar as high as you can. So, these bars over here, you want to get them all to orange as fast as possible. Ideally, most, right, maybe out of like all the 6 cards, ideally you get 5 cards to orange bar friendship, so that before you enter into your first summer, you can get all of the rainbow trainings during summer itself, right? So that is going to be our objective for the entire junior. Everything else is not going to be that important for us. So let's just take a look over here. So we always try to do this. You can actually drag and scroll and just see which one you have. Between the 2 speed as well as the 2 power, I personally prioritize speed more, because one important thing when you want to get good stats is that you want to get your training facilities level up as high as possible, especially getting them to level 5, because it's a base stat increase, which means that all of your rainbow bonuses as well as your mood bonuses, it will amplify even further, especially if you stack all of them like multiple rainbows in a single training, right? So because of that, most of our trainings should be on speed as well as stamina. So between these 2, I'm just going to be going for speed, because this will give us the additional training facility level as well as the 2 friendship gauge, right? So that's going to be that. And at this point, you can see every single one over here is going to be a 1 friend, right? 1 support card, and Wit actually has 2. So this is the perfect opportunity to just go for the additional friendship for the Wit training for both of our stamina cards over here. Okay, this is going to give out a little bit of energy regeneration, which is quite nice. Everything else, okay, so this is going to be a little bit interesting, where we have 2 stamina as well as 2 power. But notice how this power over here actually gets us the hint from special week. So if you take a look into our skills, these are the skills that you would be getting from a special week hint. Now, fortunately for us, all of these are not that important, right? None of these skills are that crazy, but however, if this was, for example, like a Killer Sun Black hint, or if this was like a Manhattan Cafe, or like a Super Creek hint, you probably want to get that, especially if the hint itself has a potential good skill. So for example, if you have a Manhattan Cafe hint, it gives you, like, for example, Stamina Eater, or Major McQueen, which gives you Inside Scoop. They're all really, really good hints, right? But for this particular moment, we're just going to be going for the stamina, increasing our training facilities level up as much as we can, right? So this is gonna give us the special week event. I always go for the first or the second. This is gonna be skill point, this is gonna be speed. I don't really like the last point because the skill is almost completely worthless, so don't really worry about it too much. Just get that, get the additional 15 speed, that's gonna be fine. And now this is a clear winner, which is gonna be for the stamina, so not too much explanation needed. Just go for it, see what we get over here. Okay, Murmur, completely useless. It is what it is. Extra training. Now, for me personally, I always hit extra training at least until I see my director getting level 3 friendship, which will guarantee our upgrade for our ultimate by senior year March, right? So we always go for the extra training. Increasing our director thingy over here. Alright, actually activating the Killer Sun Black first chain, which improves our mood up to good over here. And like I mentioned in my previous video, ideally I never ever touch recreation, especially in the junior year, unless I cannot hit great by the end of junior, because we have a lot of cards as well as events in URA Finale that gives you a lot of free moves, right? So I don't really want to use that. And between all these here, unfortunately, none of these events are that good, and 15% is honestly a little bit high of a risk that I'm personally not that comfortable taking, especially only with 2 of the friendship over here. So I'm actually just gonna go for the rest and see what we get, right? We do get well rested, which is quite nice over here. Now, unfortunately, we actually clash with our special week event, which means we're not gonna be getting any forms of energy. That's very, very unfortunate for us, but you know, it is what it is. At this point, we're just gonna go back into our stamina. And once again, like I said, there's not a single run that can be perfect because it is completely RNG dependent. The only thing that matters is that you make the best choice in that time of your career, right? So going forward, we're just gonna be going for the second event, which is gonna give us the first option for the free great mood upgrade. And you can see without a single rare creation, we're already a great mood because of the cards as well as the career, right? So that's gonna be that. Now between our speed and wit, we always want to be going for the wit here if we are gonna be getting an equal number of friends. And this one we do get an additional director, and it's gonna be free energy. That's why I always prioritize this first, because like I mentioned, your day one, or rather your year one junior goal is getting your friendship up as much as possible, right? So even though this is a double speed, I do want to get it because it's literally free with a +5 energy. So we're going to be going for the wit over there, increasing our friendship, and then we're going to scan through. All right, between these two, because this does have the hint for us, we're just going to be going back to the stamina because hint is going to be giving you a little bit more friendship gauge, right? Avenue Scroll is also quite a decent skill, especially for Enclosure. Unfortunately, for Ghost Ship, or rather for Oguri, it's going to be completely useless. Between these two, we can actually go a little bit more. It kind of just depends on what you want. Because Oguri does have a 20% speed buff, this technically gives you more stats, right? You can see 22 plus 12 compared to 16 plus 7, and because they are the exact same level of rather the number of support cards, we're going to be going for a speed over here just for a little bit higher. Invitation to a rainy day gives us a little bit more energy, which is quite nice. And let's see what we get over here. Now, unfortunately, we get nothing. Okay, this is between power and wit, and because wit is going to be free, we're always going to be taking wit over here to increase our friendship. Alright, we do get Bottomless Pit. This is honestly a little bit of an excess because this is not going to be 30 energy, but we're just going to hit it. Hopefully, we don't get the slow metabolism, because slow metabolism from the full event is only 10% chance. So you should always hit the second option every single time. And if you do get slow metabolism, you can actually let the effect wear off by itself after a while, especially if you want to kind of gamble it. So always just go for the second option. So at this point, between speed and stamina, we're going to be going for this because this is going to be giving us another hint, which gives us more friendship, right? Hopefully, we also get Slipstream, which is honestly not too bad of a skill, so that's gonna be that, right? For this kind of training event, just take a look at Game Tore Up, and it will give you the choices that you're gonna be running. So that's gonna just come with practice, right? So going into our first junior make debut, just slam it. You're gonna win it almost like 100% of the time. Change your pace, slam this, boom, you're gonna be done, right? So that's gonna be that. And speaking about races, I almost never upgrade any of my skills during the URA career unless you are really uncomfortable with the stats that you're gonna be facing. But if you're gonna be doing an ace run, your stats should be more than enough to win every single first place in the career, unless you're just really unlucky. So the reason why is, number one, I want to save my skill points for some free hints, because every single race, even during these like career races, so there's a chance for you guys to get the relevant hints to increase the discount, as well as your inheritance events, which can give you even more hints, and also fast learner, which just saves you a lot of skill points. So as much as I can, I try to delay my skill points to the best of my abilities, right? So between these two, now between both stamina as well as power actually has a little bit more friendship over here, because this is going to be 2 and this is going to be 1 with the director. But I'm actually going to be going for stamina, because you can see special weak is very low, right? We're barely hitting the second bar, whereas these two are almost going towards a rainbow friendship, right? And like I mentioned in my original video, you want to ideally make every single one of the Umas get to around the same level of friendship at the same time. So because our special week is actually lagging, we are going to be going for this, which gives us more friendship for special week specifically, so that we can synchronize our rainbow friendship trainings towards the start of summer, right? So this is going to be early June. We get ourselves the interviewer, so that's going to be great. This kind of stuff, we don't have to worry about it too much. Alright, going back into our training, and we can see over here, we do have a 3 for our power, and everything else is going to be 1. So this is where power training is going to be worth it, because it is going to be 3 friendship, right? And we do get a rainbow from Hannah Cafe, so that's going to be great. Hopefully we get the 10 plus 10. If we don't, then it is what it is. Okay, unfortunately we did not get it, so it's going to be a 5 plus 5. And now we're going to see what we get over here. Now, 19% failure rate is a little bit too high for me as well. I'm not going to be going for it. The only chance I might want to risk this if I see a double or triple rainbow. Other than that, I will almost never take this kind of risk, so we're just going to go for the rest. All refresh, very good. Unfortunately, we didn't get any events, so it is what it is. And then we do see ourselves a 2 plus 1 director here, so we're going to be going for the wit training to increase our friendship again. This is going to be early September, and then we do see a 1 Super Creek, and this is going to be Sweep Tosho plus Kilasan Black. I do want to just bring this up as high as possible, just to get the double rainbow here going forward, right? Unfortunately, Sweep Tosho is not giving us the slipstream, which is very unfortunate, so it is what it is. Okay, this is a very nice stamina training, because it's going to be 2 different friendships with a free interviewer for some additional stats, and Major McQueen's hint is very nice if you get Inside Scoop. Okay, we did not get Inside Scoop, but Kyoto Race Course is still a very nice because it is basically the right course, right? So that is always going to be good, and we're going to see our first rainbow here. Excellent, right? This is a really good rainbow because we do gain 4 support cards with the interviewer, and these 3 are going to improve their friendship over here. So this is definitely a hit on the speed department. So we're going to hit that. And then we're going to get a little bit more speed from the interviewer. Expectation of the power is going to be with a little bit more stamina. Don't worry about it too much. Late October begins. I want to kind of just scan through and see what we have. Okay, this is honestly a very nice option to actually go for the Super Creek, because the Super Creek, you can see our friendship is very low, and there's almost no way you're going to be failing this with training event as compared to this is 37%. So we're just going to be going for this to increase our Super Creek friendship a little bit higher. And if we get firm condition, it's also quite nice. Extra training for wit, I would not take it because wit is not a stat that I really want, right? I'll only really take this if it's going to be on stamina or speed. So we're just going to get a little bit more energy recovery. Running on full is going to give us another little bit more energy over here. That's great. And now we're going to see what we get. Okay, nothing too crazy. We're going to go for wit again because this will bring our friendship up to a higher level, as well as especially with getting the hint over there to increase our friendship even higher, right? So this is going to be late November. So many options that I'm always going to be going for the first option for a little bit more energy again. So at this point, specific to Oguri Cap, you really want to take this race over here. The reason why is because if you want to save up only for Hofu stakes, there is a chance for you to lose, right? No matter how good your build is, there's always a potential chance for you to lose Hofu stakes if this is the only race you're hitting to do 3,000 fans. A very similar event can also be compared to Major McQueen, where she also wants to hit the certain number of fans by the end of junior year, and if you save up only for Hofu stakes and you lose it, the run is over. So never ever risk this from happening. You always want to get at least 2 races, so in case you fail one, you're able to still go forward with your career. So this is non-negotiable. You never only do a single race here, no matter how good you think you are, right? So because of that, between this race as well as this race, it kind of just depends which one you're more comfortable with, and see if you're gonna be okay with getting the pink Mao, which would give you more fans, right? So me personally, I'm gonna be going for the Hanshin Juvenile Phyllis as well as the Hofu 6. So this is where I can go for one more training here. See what we get. Okay, unfortunately, nothing here is too good, so I'm just going to be going for a little bit more weight just to get our Major McQueen up because they're standing free. Okay, freshman and amber amounts for a little bit more energy. That's going to be great. Now you go for this. I don't care what rainbow you see over here. It doesn't matter. You go for the race over here just in case the run itself actually fails, right? So I'm going to be going for the Hanjin Juvenile Phyllis on the Mao. Hit the race. See if you get first place. You do get first place, which is going to be completely great for us, which means you're going to be hitting your career goal over here, right? So this is great. I always go for that second option because I just like that little bit more of a gamba. So that's going to be up to your personal preference. Unfortunately, we don't win the gamba, but it is what it is. In the long course of things, right, between the first and second, they should come out to be roughly the same amount, right? So the first option is guaranteed 15. Second option is sometimes 5, sometimes 20, whatever it's going to be. So for this one more training, you kind of want to see what you get, right? You see my training over here, none of them are too good, right? We don't really have a single rainbow, and we don't really have a very high amount of support cards for a single event, and almost all of my support cards here, they are basically maxed out in terms of friendship. So because of this, I'm just going to be going for the Hofu sticks and see if we're going to be able to get a little bit more skill points as well as stats over here, right? So get this in, see if we get a W. Yes, we do, which means we're going to be getting another 63 skill points, which is going to be very, very nice for us, right? Oh, we actually get an interviewer, which is even better because we get a little bit more fans as well as giving her the 5th in friendship. So we can get a little bit more stats towards the end of URA career, right? So this is going to be the end of our junior year, and just to wrap up our junior year before I talk about Slasic, right? This is going to be always the second option, so that's going to be that. So taking a look into your trainings, you can see that every single one of my support cards, out of the 6 support cards I have, only 2 are not gonna be at max friendship. Now, this Super Creek is gonna be MLB 0. If you're gonna be running a Limit Break 3 or max Limit Break Super Creek, this should definitely be closer to the max friendship here as well. And then for this other card over here, this is gonna be Special Week. We're almost gonna be there for orange, right? So that is the goal that you want to achieve by the end of junior year, where almost every single one of your support cards would be at the orange friendship bar. So that is your number 1 objective. Everything else is going to be secondary. So at this point, we're gonna take a look over here. It's either between power or guts, and obviously power is gonna be the right choice because you want to bring up Super Creek as fast as possible to orange, right? Everything else is not gonna be as important anymore. So we're gonna hit the power, gets us a little bit for the director, which is just a little bit nice of a bonus for more skill points and the friendship. For trainer's knowledge, we are gonna be going for strength because we do have 20% speed, and we're gonna be running 3 speed cards. So definitely gonna go for the strength. And now between these, Yeah, nothing too crazy. So we're definitely going to be going for the speed training because this is the only 2 cards remaining that have not maxed out on their friendship, right? 9% chance is going to be a risk that I'm comfortable accepting. If this was, for example, like 15% plus, I'm not going to be taking this. I'm just going to be playing it safe. But 9% is something that I can tolerate. So let's see if we hit it. Okay, very, very nice, which means that we are almost going to be maxed out on that first thing, right? So, Yeehaw Pilot Tonight, this is a R card, which unfortunately I have no idea what the hell this event is. So, please use the game Torah reference to know exactly what event. Do not be lazy because you only have 3 friend brawls a day. So, if you're across a support card that you've never seen before, just take 5 seconds to Google and see what options you are going to be getting. So as you can see over here for Yeehaw Pilot Tonight, this is going to be the event. Top option is minus 10 energy with plus 5 speed and 10 power. Bottom option is prepared to pass. Between both options, I always prefer an option that doesn't consume any of my energy because energy is very, very important, especially by senior year where you can see one single training can easily net you like 40, 50 or even 60 stats, even though if they just consume like 20 energy. So this first option is almost never worth it as long as they minus energy. So we're just going to be going for the bottom option. Not because prepared to pass is a crazy skill, which honestly is not going to be that crazy, but it's just for us to conserve energy over here. Okay, so we are going to be able to get that, and because our energy is going to be almost completely 0, just a quick swipe, and okay, this would have been absolutely insane if we actually get enough energy. I would honestly go for it because we do see a 40 stat gain, but because it's way too risky, definitely going to be going for the rest here. Or refresh, very nice. Ugly Forest guy, we're just going to be going for the second option over here, which gives us a little bit more power. So that's going to be great. So let's see what we get over here. Guts is not something that I try to do because it does consume a little bit more stamina. Special Week is almost maxed out. I'm not going to worry about it. So we are just going to be going for the 25 speed and 10 power with the Director Friendship bonus here as well. Because if you do not upgrade your training facilities, then by senior year, you're going to be lagging quite a bit in stats, right? So over here, none of these trainers are that crazy, and this is the only one that gives us the Super Creek Friendship Gauge as well. For $3.99, we are going to be going for the Wit training over here again. Okay, we do get the mood increase. Super Creek event is going to add a bit for us over here. Once again, okay, this is a very, very good beginner's trap where you see a rainbow and you just click the rainbow, which is definitely not something you should be doing, especially not in the classic year, because one single rainbow on a level 2 training facility is only going to be over here. You can see 25 speed and 12 power, which is 37 stat total, right? But because we are running 3 different speed cards, and by the time we increase our training facilities by senior year, you can see that for the amount of energy you're spending, it is not going to be worth it in the grand scheme of things. Whereas compared to Wit over here, we get a free turn plus the friendship for Super Creek to hit the orange and a little bit more stats because we are going to be going with the interviewer. So Wit here is going to be very, very nice, which means that at this point, the only card that is not going to be orange is going to be Special Week, which we are going to be fixing very, very soon because she's just basically 1 training away, right? So our first inspiration event is going to happen. I don't think we got a good amount of cards over here, so let's just see if we get Front Runner, Hopeful S. Honestly, Hopeful S is quite good because it's basically a mini URA finale, so that's going to be fine. So let's see what we get over here. Alright, so this is where we get our first double rainbow compared to maxing out our Special Week. And unfortunately, as much as I would like to bring Special Week up to orange, double rainbow is something that you cannot pass out on, right? You have 35 stamina as well as 16 guts, and especially in Gemini Cup where you are going to be needing a lot of stamina, you are definitely going to be going for a double rainbow. Whenever a double rainbow plus appears, there is very little options to actually choose something else, so it is what it is for Special Week over here, right? So this is going to be a single rainbow on Super Creek, and we do not see any other viable options. And because this is only a single rainbow with a potential 14% chance of failure, I'm actually going to be going for the rest here, and I'm not going to be playing it too risky, right? It is simply not worth the risk to fail and only gain a mediocre amount of stats when it's not going to be able to stack on the rainbow. So we're just going to be going for the race. Unfortunately, did not get first place. It is what it is. You don't have to worry about it. If you want to get your increase your probability of getting rank 1, you can go for the skill upgrade, but I like to greed a little bit more just to see if we can get fast learner as well as the different hints, so it's going to be fine. Okay, so now we're going to be going into our late May, and this is the perfect training to max out my Special Weeks training. 39 speed, 15 power for a grand total of 54 stats. This is definitely not going to be worth it, so just hit the first option. max out our special week, and at this point, before Classic Summer, I have gotten every single one of my support cards to the highest friendship, right? Every single one of my support cards has already gotten the orange bar, which means that once we do friendship training and we can stack on our rainbow during summer, that is gonna be the most ideal scenario. So between these trainings here, you kind of have two options. You can go for a speed training here, which gives you 41 stats total, and then rest afterwards. But there's a chance where you might get Night Owl right before the rest for summer, which is why in my original guide, I would say I personally like to rest 2 turns in advance for summer. But in this particular case, you can see my energy is almost full, which means that if I were to rest right now, my next turn, I'm either going to be only doing grid training, or I'm going to be doing any other stat training, which is going to drain my energy again. So because of this particular situation, I am going to be going for the speed training to get the additional stats, and then I'm going to be resting over here. Hopefully me not getting 9 hours. Now, we do gain extra training, and because this is right before summer, I'm definitely going to be going for the additional energy recovery. Wonderful Mistake is going to give us Charming, or minus 20 energy for 40 skill points. Now, Charming is going to be completely useless for us at this point of the game because I've literally drained out the entirety of my friendship. All of my friends is going to be orange. So, first option should always be the better option because you get the 40 skill points, which is something that you can use. But because this is right before summer, you are going to be losing 20 energy. So, if you cannot get the perfect training, the first option here is not going to be something that you want to take because risking summer is not something that you want to do, especially because summers with rainbows on level 5 training facility is the highest possible stat gain you're ever going to see in the entire URA Career, right? Your classic summer and your senior summer, they are events that you cannot screw up. But I'm just going to be going for a little bit more of a gamble because the second option is, at the end of the day, completely useless for me. So hopefully I get a well-rested or at least a plus 50 energy. And if I do screw up my run over here by getting Night Owl, then I will be getting punished. But sometimes in Uma Musume, you kind of have to take adjusted risks. It's either something that's completely useless or something that could potentially be good. So I'm going to be going for the first option for the 40 skill points. And then we're going to be hoping for the well-rested or at least plus 50. That's 1 in 3, right? It's literally just 1 in 3. All these things you do need to look, just go for rest. Let's see. Okay, we do get the 50 energy, which is not the end of the roll. So now you go into summer with almost full energy, which is something that I'm going to accept. We see what we have over here. All right. So between these two options, so between 1 rainbow on speed and 1 rainbow on stamina, both of which having 1 additional here, you kind of see the stamina technically gives us less stats because Oguri does have the 20% speed and 10% power, but we are going to be going for stamina for this particular scenario because Gemini Cup needs a ridiculous amount of stamina. All right, so you are going to be going for stamina, gets you a little bit over here, bring us to roughly 60 energy and see how we hit. So this is going to be a double rainbow. You're definitely going to be hitting a double rainbow over here because this is going to be giving you a whopping 87 total points. So no questions asked with 3 different hints. So hopefully we get stamina either from a Hannah Cafe. Okay. We did not get it, but we did get Slipstream, which is very, very nice, right? So for this particular time, okay, luckily for us, we didn't lose on too many. So we are just going to be going for the rest over here. Ideally, if you actually enter into summer with max energy, you can go for a wit training and followed by another speed or stamina training, right? But unfortunately, we lost a little bit of skill points because of the Sweep Total event. So it is what it is. We'll work with the best of what we have. Okay, this is definitely going to be power. So we hit that. Hopefully we get a nice rainbow over here. That's going to be 1 rainbow, nothing else. So it is what it is. We're just going to hit it for a grand total of 47 stat gain. Ending our summer with roughly 500-ish speed. Slow, almost close to 600. And our stamina is going to be at 456 and power is at 423. Right? So at this point, 14% failure for this. 12% failure for our stamina. This is something that I'm willing to accept. So it is what it is. Let's hit it. Please don't fail. That's fantastic. 14% with double rainbow is very, very nice. For this extra training, I'm actually going to be going for the recovery option because I know my speed is definitely going to be enough. So we're just going to be getting a little bit more energy back. And my director should be a green energy if I'm not wrong. Yeah, she's already green, which means you don't really need to get the additional stat gain anymore, right? So at this point, nothing is worth it anymore. You're going to fail. So let's just go for rest. Well, rest is absolutely fantastic. This is always going to be the first option. Also, remind yourself that you should be getting Lone Wolf for any of the horses so you don't get a Lone Wolf incident, right? So for this particular turn, it is honestly S because there's not a single rainbow. So we're just going to be going for our stamina because we do need a lot of stamina for Gemini. So when in doubt, try to just go for stamina for this particular upcoming race. Unfortunately, we got hit with a migraine blues, which reduced our mood. That is really just bad RNG. And another turn with absolutely 0 rainbows, which is just once again very unfortunate. So for this particular turn, I'm actually gonna be going for the race over here because I literally have no good training here whatsoever between speed and stamina, and this could get us a potential mood up because we do gain the potential. The interviewer comes in, and if she interviews us, we get a free mood up, right? So I might as well just go for it right now because there's really nothing too much to be gained from doing the training over there, right? Favorites here should be given a free W. Very nice. Please show up, Miss Interviewer. Let's see if he shows up. Okay, unfortunately, she did not show up, so it is what it is. See if we can win the gamble over here. 20 energy, did not win the gamble. It is what it is. Just a very unfortunate situation. We're gonna work with what we have, right? So this rainbow is gonna be double rainbow on speed. Unfortunately, we kind of just have to go for this. There's no choice. Hitting for this. Hopefully, we can get more stamina rainbows a little bit later on towards the end. So that's gonna be that. Okay, Iron Whale completely useless. Oh my god, this is just... Like, it is what it is, guys, right? Like, if RNG is gonna screw with you, you can't just do anything about it. And unfortunately, there might be a chance we do not get first place. Okay, never mind. Oguri is just absolutely her. So, yep, we will work with what we have over here. We do gain the free 63 skill points. And I believe after this is Arima Keenan. So, we are gonna be going for the... This is definitely second option for more stamina, so that is great. Oh, we do gain Hot Topic, which is quite nice for director as well as the interviewer. But generally speaking, nothing too crazy. I think for this particular option, I'm actually going to be going for the rest here. Yep, we are going to be going for the rest here because I do get 2 potential mood up events. First from the raffle and the second from early April, which is going to be the Fan Fest, right? So that is going to be something that we're going to have to deal with. And hopefully we do gain the mood bonuses back up again. It's just an RNG thing that we kind of have to deal with, right? Unfortunately, did not get first place. Work with what we have. It is what it is. Okay, we're going to go in. And we are always going to be going for the first option because that will give us the energy recovery. A little bit of an excess, but always better to have a little bit more than having nothing. Alright, so we're going to be going for the energy recovery. This will give me 8 in energy. 12 wasted. This is fine. 1 single rainbow, we're just going to hit this because our stamina is very low. So we hit that. Hopefully we gain the mood increase from this over here. Okay, we do gain Bushel of Carrots, which is absolutely fantastic. So we do get a free mood up. At this point, we do have to bring up our stamina a lot higher. So definitely start spamming stamina to try to bring this up as close to 1100 as possible, right? So that's going to be fine. Okay, extra training over here. I'm actually going to be going for the energy recovery from now onwards because our director is already going to be a green. So you want to conserve energy as much as you can whenever that option shows up, right? So for this particular case, you can see that we actually don't have a lot of good options. So I'm just going to continuously go for stamina because your stamina is going to be the biggest area of concern, especially in Gemini. So that's going to be that. No other events. This is going to be 1 stamina training. We do gain a free wit training over here, which with just a hint, that means we are going to be getting potential inside scoop or even Kyoto. So you could also just go for the race over here. February 6 for Oguri. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we're going to be going for the race over here. Because if this gives us a free mood up, that would be very nice. Right? If we don't get a mood up, we're going to be getting a free mood up very soon towards the late March. So not too big of a difference, but you need to win this for Oguri's career race anyways, so you might as well just do it, right? So second option again. Oh my god, I'm just never hitting the 5 energy stamina, which is just really unlucky. So it is what it is. 14% and 16%. This is something that is a little bit risky. I'm gonna just play it safe, right? I'm just gonna play it safe. Because if we fail this over here, it's going to be very unfortunate, right? Okay, we actually get Oguri's Heart Pounding Training, which gives us... Holy shit. Okay, this is completely RNG. The Fast Learner event is one of the best events you can get for any age training. And I cannot believe on my first run on this free-to-play account, I actually got a Fast Learner, which is another reason why you want to save up your skill points for that particular type, right? Because it will literally save you so much value, especially if you're going to be stacking on a lot of skills. So now that you have Fast Learner, after the Inheritance event from early April, that is when you can actually start building skills. Because you actually got Fast Learner, right? So that is very lucky for us. And we get a free mood up. So let's just see what we get over here. The 1 rainbow here, definitely going to be a hit. And hopefully we get a little bit more for stamina, right? Because stamina is going to be looking very low over here. So it is what it is. Okay, inspiration event. Let's see if we get any potential good sparks over here. Okay, we got a grand total of 0.99, so it is what it is. It's just going to be raw stats. Nothing to be concerned about because once again, this video is just to show you guys exactly what stats you can expect with a free-to-play there, right? So at this point, you can see that we once again do not have any stamina, but because we do get this rainbow, and I believe that towards the end of summer, as long as you hit roughly this stat point, you can still try to squeeze in way more stamina trainings, hoping for the RNG towards the end, right? So we're just going to be going for the speed over here. Keep in mind that Oguri does have a special event if you win Tenno Show that gives you additional points. So we're going to be going for the speed training here once again because it is going to be a rainbow. Yeah, it's going to be very nice. And then this is going to be, whoa, okay, this is a fantastic rainbow for speed. Note to yourself, Oguri Cap has a special event where if you win Tenno Show Spring, you get access to more skill points as well as bonus stats, but it will minus 20 or 15 energy, which is actually something you do not want, right? You do not want to waste energy for this, so you're actually going to be able to intentionally skip this particular event just to get more stats over here. And unfortunately for us, we do have a 14% or rather 30% chance of failure with a absolutely monster 85 potential stats over here. You have to take this risk. Uma Musume is a probability game. Please don't punish me. Let's hit it. Absolutely fantastic. So we're going to be able to get a very, very nice amount of speed as well as power for this one. Get a free mood up, but we didn't drain any energy, which is going to be very nice. After this event, we are almost certainly going to be going for the rest. Yep, we're going to be going for the rest. Don't worry about the warning over here. It's going to be fine. Late May is going to activate. Okay, and we get ourselves a swinging maestro. Unfortunately, none of these events are going to be too good. Remember that you want to get into max energy going into the summer event, right? So because of that, we're going to conserve a little bit over here by going for the weird training. And then we're going to do one more race to finish up our career progression. In case you fail this, right? In case you fail Yasuda Kinen, you still have one more Takara Zuna Kinen. So you just want to go for this race. You're probably almost definitely going to be winning. Okay, I forgot to level my skills here. You definitely should because you already got fast learner. But just go for this. Get the first place and then you stop, right? You get yourself the first place. Very, very nice. And we get the reporter review. Pin hopes is going to be a little bit more for the first one, which is going to give us stamina and power. So at this particular point, do not go for any of these training. Literally just chill. Go for the width for a little bit more recovery over here. You could go for the rest, but I think it's a little bit overkill. So we're just going to be going for the width. And we get a little bit more bonus from the interviewer. And then you go into summer with almost basically max recovery or rather max energy, right? Okay. That's going to be fantastic. So let's see what we get for our summer. So if we get a fantastic stamina rainbow training for the summer, then this Oguri is going to be more or less complete, right? So that is a triple rainbow on speed for a whopping 92 speed and 45 power. And this is going to be a symbol. So we're definitely going to be taking this. But this is just a potential example to show, even though you do not have like full-on spend money on it, because this is a completely free-to-play account, you can see training results similar to this. Granted, it is purely RNG, right? I'm not saying you're gonna be getting a triple rainbow every single career run, but there's always going to be a chance that you do, and your job as a trainer is to maximize the probability of you making this happen. So why this is going to be possible, of course, it's RNG, but also you took the exact number of steps in preparation for summer, right? We ended the summer with almost max energy, we finished our career goals, we maxed out our friendship points, and it's little things like this that adds up as you build into the close to perfect career run. And when RNG strikes, that's when you seize the opportunity to make the career the best possible career that can be, right? So we're gonna hit this for an absolutely insane 137 stat gain. Very, very nice over here. So that is gonna be 1 for speed and nothing for anything else. So what I'm actually gonna do is go for a rest so that we can do 2 more potential trainings to see if we can get some multicolored rainbows. So that's going to be 1, that's going to be 1. Now, between 1 and 1 for this, we definitely want to go for the stamina because stamina is going to be very, very low over here. And we're trying to get this as much as we can, all right? Unfortunately, we did not get the stamina over here, but I am actually just going to go for the stamina because I know for a fact if our stamina is not enough for Gemini Cup, we are literally not going to complete the race, right? So we're just going to be going for the stamina with 0 training. It is what it is. So we're going to hit this. And hopefully, okay, we're just going to be going for this for a little bit more stamina over here. Okay, at this point, because our speed is actually at a very, very healthy amount, I actually want to go for the rest and try to get as much stamina training into stamina as I can over here, right? So we're just going to go for the rest or refreshed. This is going to give us a free speed up, which is great. See if we get any stamina. Okay, once again, no stamina, which is very, very unlucky. We're just gonna have to go for this, right? So hopefully we can land some stamina upgrades. Okay, this is gonna be a free food event, so just take it. Fantastic. This is gonna be nothing, so we're just gonna be going for more stamina. 717. Okay, this is gonna be stamina training. Width is gonna increase, and then we're gonna go for the race, right? So everything else from this point onwards, you pretty much just want to slam everything to stamina, right? Nothing but stamina, especially for the Gemini Cup. But to be fair, Gemini Cup is an exception because this race requires an abnormal amount of stats, so you definitely want to just hit it. Okay, don't really care about everything else. Go for the stamina. Once again, not getting a single stamina here, but at this point, it is just RNG, right? You're just gonna do the best you can. If you can't hit the stamina, you just hit the stamina, right? So go for a little bit more of a recovery. See if we can get ourselves the... Okay, we do get a free energy, which is quite nice. See if we can get a stamina rainbow. Still no stamina rainbow. Just really, really unlucky at this point, right? So all of my mechanic... Oh, man. I mean, you really just can't do anything at this point. We're just gonna go for the stamina again. Alright, because our guts is also looking very, very low. You want to have like 420-ish guts for the Gemini Cup. But it is what it is. Gets ourselves the cooldown, which is very, very nice. Finally gets us this, but because it's 22%, you're actually going to go for the rest over here, right? There's nothing you can do. And then you're going to go into the final racing event for the last 3 turns. And then hopefully you can get a couple of rainbows, right? If we can still save the stamina shortfall over here by giving us some bonus rainbows. Okay, that's very, very good. Alright, now we're gonna be going to finally getting us a rainbow on the stamina. 5 men as well, but unfortunately, I don't know where the other 2 stamina went. Okay, they went to wit. It is what it is. So we're gonna hit on the stamina for a pretty decent 37 bonus, hitting us to 800 stamina. Still have 2 more trainings left, so we are just basically gonna aim everything towards stamina over here. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be hitting nearly enough stamina for this particular run. And that is sort of like the bane with like free to plays, especially for this upcoming Gemini Cup. Right? The Gemini Cup, at the end of the day, it is very, very stat hungry as a race itself. So don't really feel that bad about it if you don't hit the stat requirements. Just do the best you can. Oh my god. Okay, never mind. We actually hit a triple stamina for the first time in the entire run. Absolutely fantastic. And because we have been doing our stamina trainings, we are getting it to a level 4 training facility as well. This is literally unscripted. I can't even believe what I'm looking at right now. So definitely hit this for a whopping 71 stat gain, 50 into the stamina department to greatly increase our stamina for the race. I think we are actually gonna be getting close to 950 stamina if I can get 1 more lucky rainbow on the stamina training. So let's see what we hit over here. This is going to be our last training, right? This is going to be our last training. Sunny Days, which is quite nice for a little bit more guts. Do we hit a stamina rainbow? Oh, unfortunately, we do not hit a stamina rainbow. So since this is literally going to be our last training, we are just going to be going for whichever gives us the highest probability of success. And since this is going to be 15 power to give us a little bit more for the upslope, with 10 stamina compared to 18 stamina, this also gives us additional stats for plus 5 power for this. So this is basically 20 power plus 10 stamina versus 18 plus 8. Ideally, you actually just go for the stamina here because your stamina is just way too low. But I'm just going to go for this because it's going to give us a little bit 1% chance less of failure, and everything else just unfortunately not used, right? So you're definitely not going to be saying this is the end all be all run because first of all, we have no inheritance. Second of all, this stamina is way too low. So we're just going to hit this, see if it hits. Okay, we do get a success, and then we do get a plus 5 power, which is very, very nice, which means that at the end of this URA Career finale, we should be getting ourselves roughly 950 stamina, so slightly under 1,000, and our speed is not that high, which technically means we don't really consume as much speed as we would like. And we do have ourselves a triple gold stamina skill from cooldown, swinging maestro, and her built-in gourmet, right? So which means that because of this, our stamina is actually not too far off from being running out of stamina. So let's just take a look at the actual mileage over here. So we have a S on speed, 8 on stamina, 786 power, 388 guts, as well as 407 wits. Now, unfortunately, because this Oguri did not unlock the potential level, but by right, you're definitely gonna be able to get your Gourmand over here. So this should be a Gourmand. It is free for Oguri. This is just free to play, so I didn't get it. So we do get ourselves cooldown from Major, which is very, very nice. We're gonna hit that. We do get ourselves Swinging Maestro, which is very, very nice. We do get ourselves Professor of Curvature, which is always very nice. This is gonna be Sunny Days to give us a little bit more guts. And you can see just now our guts is not enough. And we get Kyoto Race Course to give us a little bit more stamina here, which is gonna be good as well over here. Everything else, let's see what else we can get. We are gonna be going for a little bit more of an afternoon stroll. It's not gonna be useful. Nothing here is gonna be too crazy, so let's just get Slipstreams, because that's always gonna be not too shabby. Hydrate, definitely gonna be getting that. Unfortunately, we did not see Gourmand, so it is what it is. I think because we just don't really have... Oh, by the way, this skill is completely useless. Please do not get the corner acceleration, right? It's just really, really bad. We do have 375 points remaining. Ideally, if you got yourself a proper inheritance, for example, if you got like a Major Omicron, whatever, you can get that. I'm not gonna get this, so let's just get ourselves the... We're just prepared to pass with Passing Pro, because our stamina is very, very low. One last 135. Probably gonna be going for the... Yeah, let's just get this, right? Just nice. 120. Hit this. Boom. Dance. Very, very good. And that is gonna complete our run over here for our free-to-play. Basically, literally a free-to-play account. See if we get a decent enough rating. Okay, career complete. And that is gonna give us a very, very, very comfortable A rank. Almost close to A plus actually. So if you actually got a little bit more of a better run, for example, if we got ourselves the multicolored rainbows towards the end of the turn, this would have actually been an A plus Oguri Cap, right? So we hit this, all these kind of stuff. All right, it is what it is. 1-star guards, right? Classic, standard. So this is going to be our Oguri Cap. Once again, I'm not saying that you're gonna be able to take this Oguri and win against the whales, right? I'm talking about like end closers, perfect stats, you know, the whale cards, 1200 speed, 1200 stamina, everything. Let's just be real. Free-to-plays, casuals, they're definitely gonna be struggling a lot, but it is basically making the best use of what you have to still make a decent enough Oguri or decent enough Uma for any kind of upcoming scenario. This is considering the fact that we literally did not even get a proper inheritance, and we're using as relatable of a deck that I could possibly find for a, I would say, a pretty decent run. This is honestly a pretty decent run, especially considering we actually did get a fast learner, which is very, very lucky for us. With the Sweep Tojo, Major McQueen, Manhattan Cafe, Special Week, as well as the Limit Break Zero Super Creek over here. So I kind of want to just show you guys the simulation which you are going to be seeing if you actually were to take this into a race in Kyoto Turf. So as you can see over here, this is going to be the exact same Oguri that we are going to be running from the previous run. You can see that based on the amount of stats that we have, we are still going to be left with roughly, I'm not sure if you guys can see, it's a little bit small, but I can see from the actual race course, we do have roughly 100-ish, 197-ish HP remaining, which definitely means that as long as Oguri procs her things, she is going to have enough stamina to complete the race, because we do have access to essentially a triple gold, right? Now, because we did not get our potential unlocked, so we didn't get Gourmand, but if you did have Gourmand, you can remove Passing Pro and actually just get yourself the Gourmand over here, and you can just run the simulation, which you can see over here. We are gonna be left with a 200, roughly around the same number of stamina, so it's gonna be pretty much almost the exact same, right? So even with this stat line, you can actually finish the entire 3200 meter race, which I think has been a huge concern with like majority of the casual player base, where it is literally impossible for them to even finish the race itself without getting a decent number of stats running a completely free-to-play deck, right? So hopefully with that, I am gonna come into the end of this video over here. Let me know what you guys think of this run itself. Of course, once again, I just want to summarize this everything as usual. This is done with a complete free-to-play account, but even if you are a free-to-play account, it doesn't mean that every single free-to-play account is going to be having the exact same card. So for example, I will say that even though this did not spend a single cent at all, we are pretty fortunate to get ourselves the MLB Sweep Tosho as well as the MLB Manhattan Cafe. These two cards are really, really nice. This card is completely free to grind, and this card is actually because we started since day one and we did not re-roll for Kira-san Black. So you can see over here, despite having a 0 Limit Break Super Creep, we actually do have a, I believe this is going to be a Limit Break 1 Kira-san Black, right? So we basically did not even spend that many rolls. We have only 752 cards left, but at the end of the day, right, if you are a casual player, but you do not have any access to SR cards, right? And I'm talking like max limit break or 3 limit break, sweep Tojo, Man Kevin, minor Top Gun, Niner Taishin, all the kind of stuff, because of a multitude of reasons, right? It could either be because you actually pulled on the banners and just simply did not get a single one of these SR cards, which is really, really unfortunate. Or if you are going to be somebody that is chasing like waifus, right? You want to chase your Uma banners, right? You do not want to even pull for the support card banners and you cannot get the cards that you want. Then at the end of the day, you really can't do too much because we are talking about a competitive PvP game, right? So this entire run is known to show that you're gonna be able to guaranteed 100% as a free to play, get the exact run that you want, get the best Uma that you want, because to be frank, it was not a very, very bad run. Right? We didn't fail our trainings, we didn't fail our career, we didn't get like moved down, we didn't get hit with like slow meta plus everything. All things considered, this run for Oguri Cap, it has also been very, very fortunate for us, right? So to close off everything, so with that, we have come to the end of essentially my free-to-play, relatable career run, almost A+ run for Oguri Cap. Just to stress once again, this run is not to show that you're a good trainer or a bad trainer, you don't know how to play the game, whatever. It is just to show what is possible with the amount of resources that you have on your account. Every single free-to-play account is going to look different from another free-to-play account. Maybe you have MLB Sweep Tosho, maybe you have MLB Cafe, maybe you have like MLB like King Halo, Top Gun, whatever it's going to be, your accounts are going to look different because as a free-to-play, you do not have the option to choose, right? Those are like, the whales can choose, right? They can choose to swipe, get whatever they want, but you basically just work with the cards you have. And you can see from just now, even though we did not get the A+ run, right? Because we were a little bit off from the A+ run, we still got a decent enough Uma that has the potential to finish up Kyoto 3200 meters based on the chart that I showed you guys just now. And if you're gonna be going up against whales, right? And like I mentioned in a previous video on the Dear Uma Musume players, you are not competing against whales in the first place, right? If you are a free play, if you are a casual free play, if you just want to enjoy Uma Musume, right? Try your hands on Champions meeting. The only thing you need to focus on is trying to improve your decision making in your career runs, in your inheritance planning, in your deck building, and do the best you possibly can. And UmaPokke, right, my channel, is here to try to make you guys improve your experiences for yourself, right? This is, even though this is technically a PvP game, you're comparing against other players, Uma Musume's fun is not always about winning, right? It is not always about, okay, I beat a whale or whatever. It is about how you yourself as a Torina can make better and more informed decisions during your career and everything in the game itself, even on which banners to pull over time, so they can see how you grow as a Torina, right? And UmaPokke is someone that is literally just started day 1 global. I did not play JP or Taiwan, and I'm having a lot of fun playing this game, trying to learn and understand the game better, and afterwards digesting and summarizing the information for you guys, so maybe you guys can also improve your own experiences in Uma Musume, right? So with that, I'm gonna come to the end of this content. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Maybe I already know for a fact there are still going to be individuals that say, okay, this is because he used MLB Sweep Tosho, right? You used MLB Mana Cafe. You have a limit break, right? Full limit break special week, which is from day 1, and I reroll for Kitasan Black. I didn't get it. So there's going to be always sentiments where it is anyone's fault but yourself, right? You can only solve this fault with the power of money. And I don't really know what else I can possibly do, because at the end of the day, Uma Musume is a probability team, right? Say it with me, Uma Musume is a probability game, and you basically want to make this as likely for you to get that good run as a free to play, as a casual, meta, pay to win, whatever it's gonna be, right? So all the best for UmaPokke, all the best for upcoming Champions Meet. Let me know what you guys would like to see going forward in the future, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.